Good morning. Welcome to a fresh edition of your program, Inside Nigerian Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Weber, your host on the program. Of course, today is the last Monday, or too soon, the month of January 2026 is coming to an end. So today is the last Monday of the month, January. Without wasting much time, we head up to the newspaper review corner where we have papers lined up for review this Monday. And of course, we have Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership, leading the pack as usual. Leadership's leading story today says KURMIN WALI abduction. I lost 2-week-old baby, my husband, my 5 children still in captivity, escaped mother. We have the picture underneath that leading story. KURMIN WALI abduction. I lost 2-week-old baby, my husband, 5 children still in captivity. We have the picture of the escaped mother beneath the story, and of course pictures of the churches in KURMIN WALI and Kujuru headquarters of Kajuru local government area in Kaduna State, where over 100 Christian worshippers were kidnapped January 18. We pray they are rescued soon. Kwankwaso at a difficult political crossroads, says Keyamo. Well, before we take the other stories gracing the cover of Leadership, we move to page 4 for that continuation of the stories. Let's take some excerpts from that leading story, which is a sad trajectory in our country. A 35-year-old nursing mother, Lovina Ezekiel, who escaped the bandits' attack on 3 churches in KURMIN WALI, Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State last Sunday with her infant, has recounted how a 2-week-old child died 2 days after the incident. Ms. Ezekiel said her husband and 5 children were among over 150 worshippers being held by bandits in the bush 8 days after the raid. Meanwhile, KURMIN WALI residents had a church service on Sunday under tight security. Ms. Ezekiel, who struggled to hold back her tears during the interview, said she escaped narrowly along with her newborn when bandits were moving the church worshippers out of the community. She stated that while she was praying to God for intervention for the other affected worshippers to return home safely, her newly born child fell ill and died in her hands after the incident while she was returning from the hospital in Doka, where they had gone to seek medical attention. Ms. Ezekiel recalled that bandits had killed her father last year when he was returning home from the farm. Leadership had earlier reported how Idris Madami, a villager, narrated that a nursing mother and her 2-week-old baby were among the over 150 worshippers abducted in KURMIN WALI. However, the woman said she escaped with the infant, but the child later died in the absence of his father and the other 5 siblings who were being held captive. It's really a sad tragedy because Ms. Ezekiel also narrated to Leadership that last year she lost her father to the cold hands of bandits. We continue with the leading stories on Leadership. Kwankwaso at a difficult political crossroads, says Keyamo. Of course, one can imagine, given the fact that his protege, the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf, has defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress. And on the business boss, Rewani pegs Naira's true value at 1,257 per dollar, says currency undervalued by 11%. Rewani pegs Naira's true value at 1,257 naira per dollar, says currency undervalued by 11%. The Russian embassy kicks against Azu's article on Putin. The story continues on page 4 of Leadership. Russian embassy kicks against Azu's article on Putin. Azu Shekwene is the editor-in-chief of Leadership newspaper, and of course, during his conversation last week Friday, he did an article with Putin an apology, which of course didn't go kindly well with the Russian embassy. Troops nab 65-year-old woman supplying illicit drugs to terrorists. Troops nab 65-year-old woman supplying illicit drugs to terrorists. You can't speak truth to power under this government, coming from Makinde, the Oyo State Governor. Share CEO, we are investing $20 billion in Nigeria due to Tinubu's vision leadership. Governor Yusuf will register as APC member in Kano today, spokesman. The story is on page 4 of leadership. And atop the masthead of leadership, we have for the artist of the year 2025 for his enduring impact on Nigerian music, the global resurgence of his hit, Shake Body. Skase is Artist of the Year 2025. Congratulations to you, Skase. And for putting Nigeria on the map with his Guinness World Record largest canvas painting by an individual this year, that is 2025, Kanye Kachuku, aka Kanye Tagbo KK, is Artist of the Year 2025. Congratulations to you both. From the cover of leadership, we move to page 3, where we have our stand. Today's stand is on Kano massacre, a youth crisis. Kano massacre, a youth crisis. Kano massacre, a youth crisis. Today's stand in leadership newspaper. From our stand, we move over to the back page of leadership, where we have Monday column with the Captivity side. Today's column is on echoes after Taraba. Echoes after Taraba. What Nigeria needs now is clear-eyed analysis that names failure without flinching, yet recognizes possibility without naivety. Taraba is not a blank slate. It sees some resources that, if properly governed and strategically deployed, could transform its fiscal position and expand economic opportunity across multiple value chains. The back page of leadership, Monday column with the Captivity side. We are not at war. That is what Ghana must go is on today, according to US. We are not at war with Venezuela, coming from US. And Ghana must go is asking, you are at play? Donald Trump, are you at play with Venezuela? And if that concludes leadership. But however, we are going to be reviewing the sister publication, National Economy, which is an insight in leadership Monday. Let's go over to National Economy and insert now in leadership. This week's National Economy says, this week's leading story says, economic transformation at risk as Nigeria's manufacturing sector falters. Economic transformation at risk as Nigeria's manufacturing sector falters. Industries must deepen backward integration, cut debt reliance to ease forex pressure, high interest costs. Yusuf. Nigerian businesses need AFCFTA to diversify income, scale faster, capture opportunities across high-growth African sectors, coming from PwC. These are kickers to the leading story on today's weekly National Economy, with an insight in leadership newspaper now. Economic transformation at risk as Nigeria's manufacturing sector falters. Still on the cover of National Economy, federal government's 1.37 376 trillion naira pension provision commendable. $1 billion investment, farmer integration will drive Nigerian sugar industry growth. $1 billion investment, farmer integration will drive Nigerian sugar industry growth. And lastly, on the cover of National Economy, digital payment surge. Experts urge banks, fintechs to rebuild trust. And that concludes review of leadership, National Economy this Monday. For more, log into the website of National Economy for business news. We move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard says $11 billion lost to skills shortage as tech sector outgrows workforce. ICT output surges while skilled manpower falls dangerously behind. Competition for talent drives costs higher while companies bleed. Skills gap threatens long-term digital competitiveness. Kickers to the leading story on today's Vanguard newspaper, $11 billion lost to skills shortage as tech sector outgrows workforce. Still on Vanguard newspaper, why we are keen to invest $20 billion in Nigeria. And of course, leadership says we are investing $20 billion in Nigeria due to Tinubu's vision leadership. 2026 UTME JAMB Council's concession for albinos. Kajuru Olawekpo Hashim accuses fifth columnist in government, some security operatives, of complicity in insecurity. And of course, don't forget that there was formerly, initially, there was a denial that nothing of such took place. However, the police was had to rescind or made a U-turn the next day or the following day alongside the state government that there was indeed abduction. And the PDP chieftain Olawekpo Hashim has accused fifth columnists in government, some security operatives, of complicity in insecurity. Police intercept truckloads of 40 bags of explosives in Oyo. God will rewrite Iwere story, coming from Olu of Wari. God will rewrite Iwere story. Lagos to recover unpaid taxes through banks, employers, orders. Lagos Internal Revenue Service. Atop the masthead of Vanguard tax laws, you can't speak through to power under Tinubu's government. Makinde reps disown minority caucus interim report on tax laws. Reps disown minority caucus interim report on tax laws. And lastly, on the cover of Vanguard, again, bandits abduct 6 Kajuru residents. This is a new one in addition to the over 100 that were kidnapped January 8, 18. Again, bandits abduct 6 Kajuri residents. And that brings to a close the review of Vanguard newspaper this Monday. For more, log into www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, we move to Blueprint newspaper. Blueprint's leading story says NMDPRA eyes additional 50 billion naira in $50 billion investment in midstream sector. NMDPRA eyes additional $50 billion investment in midstream sector. Tinubu's capacity reason for shares plan $20 billion investment in Nigeria. Leading story on today's Blueprint. Why Rivers lawmakers want Fubara deputy out, South professional women. Why Rivers lawmakers want Fubara deputy out, South women. Still on Blueprint newspaper. 12 years after leaving party, Kano governor returns to APC today. Kicks off Kano e-registration exercise. Speaker, 21 lawmakers, 8 reps, 44 local government chairmen, 2. That's the stories on Blueprint. We are still on Blueprint newspaper. Tinubu to undertake state visit to Turkey today. Nigeria's forest reserves break $46 billion barrier after 8 years. Lefon debunks fake reports on student loan repayments. Reform tax reps disown minority caucus report cites procedural breach. And that takes us to the stories above, or no, just beneath the masthead of Blueprint. DSS NAMC pirates foes hijack of crude oil vessel, cruise abduction. Federal government signs Enugu airport concession, says it will boost southeast economy. EPL, Manchester United stone Arsenal 3-2. And lastly, on the cover of Blueprint newspaper, atop the masthead, police intercept trucks laden with suspected explosive materials in Oyo. And that brings to a close the review of front headline stories on Blueprint newspaper this Monday. For more, log into www.blueprint.ng. From Blueprint, we move to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is Daily Sun. The Daily Sun's leading story says, again, Makinde his federal government hard. Says people no longer free to speak truth to power. His past administration. Shell CEO explains investment of $20 billion, and that is the story just beside the masthead of Daily Sun this Monday. Reports in reps over minority caucus report on alteration of tax laws. 22 Kano lawmakers resign from NPP as Yusuf rejoins APC today. Rivers, South women group begs Tinubu to wade into political crisis. Lastly, on the cover of Daily Sun, bandits abduct 6 in fresh Kajuru attack as Khan holds special prayers for release of 177 worshippers in captivity. And that brings to a close review of front headline stories on Daily Sun newspaper. For more, log into the website of Daily Sun. We move to the last paper we have on our lineup this Monday for on newspaper review, and that paper is The Guardian. The Guardian says decades of trade deals fail to win Nigeria off crude oil dependence. Decades of trade deals fail to win Nigerian off crude oil dependence. Nigeria's democracy excludes many citizens from justice governance. States should comply with Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy, says Kalu. Red split over tax laws as leadership minority caucus clash ahead of plenary. How Olubadan Oni Olugbon order secured pardon for Igboho. Tension in Anambra as government bans Monday sit at home. Shell, why we are investing $20 billion in Nigeria. Unilag honors Wale Tinubu for contributions to nation building. And with that, we move towards the masthead of The Guardian. Yusuf rejoins APC, flags off parties e-registration. Makinde says you can't speak truth to power under Tinubu. And lastly, on the cover of The Guardian, bandits ambush police patrol team in Oyo, kill inspector. That brings to a close review of The Guardian newspaper this Monday. For more, log into www.guardian.ng. Well, viewers, we've come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria, where we reviewed some trending stories on some national newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. Don't forget to log into the website of Leadership for more stories, and don't also forget to follow us on all our social media handles for more stories and for more progress videos. It's on this note we draw the curtain on today's program. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. I look forward to having you same time, same station for another fresh edition of the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching.